Hello, my friends. It's Nick. It's the ASMR nerd. And man, we are motoring through 2026. It's late May already, somehow, and June is just around the corner. And you know what happens in June, don't you? That's right. June is the video game season. It's the time of year where all kinds of publishers and developers come forward and put their new games out there, all kinds of announcements and reveals. And this is a holdover, really, from the olden days of E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo, which always used to take place in June. It is now defunct, but we still have this tradition of getting all these new game announcements in June, and it's just a bit more dispersed than it used to be, with each major publisher and platform holder kind of doing their own thing with their own press conference. But nevertheless, it remains the time of year where we get the biggest blast of new game announcements and reveals. And so it's an exciting time of the year for gamers. Now, traditionally, I do a video after the Summer Games season where I run down the 10 games that I'm most excited about that were revealed during that time. And I'll probably do that again this year, I think. It is tradition, after all. But I also thought it would be kind of fun to make some bold predictions about what we might see at Summer Games Fest, at the the individual publisher press conferences, wherever it may be, in the Summer Games season. Now, there are some things that are pretty much a given that we're going to see. Games that have already been announced for release later this year. We'll almost certainly see more gameplay. Like, I'm sure we'll see some more gameplay of Fable, for example. Probably get a release date announcement. There's some other very safe bets, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I want to give you my bold predictions, my wild wish casting, things which maybe could happen, probably won't, but could. Maybe some of it's wishful thinking. Maybe I'm huffing the hopium for some of these, but I think it's fun to imagine what we might see and just get hype about some things that could happen with all those reveals. So that's what I'm going to do here today. It's going to be very casual. I'm going to be just yapping. I'm not even going to have any other video or trailers or anything playing. It's literally just going to be me rambling. So if you are down for that, stick around. It's going to be pretty casual, but it's kind of nice to do it that way sometimes. In addition to the very exciting video game season, June also marks the beginning of summer. And with summer comes brand new, awesome, everyday apparel from this video's sponsor, Into the AM. Right now, Into the AM has their Memorial Day sale going on. It runs through the end of May, May 31st, and you can save up to 70% off their entire catalog, site-wide, all kinds of sales. This is the perfect time for you to lock in your summer fits. If you're looking to spruce up your wardrobe, get yourself some new graphic tees to wear in those summer months, now is the perfect opportunity. Lock it in while they're on sale. On top of the already crazy sales they've got going on, you can also take advantage of big savings in their graphic tee bundles. You can get 3 tees, 6 tees, or 9 tees all together, saving more the more you buy. Additionally, they've got all kinds of other stuff on sale site-wide, like right now, I'm wearing their athletic shorts as well as one of their graphic tees, actually, of course. This is a fun design. They've got new designs dropping every week as well. The thing that I love about Into the AM, you guys, is that it's not a forced sponsorship where I feel like I have to sell you something because that's what's expected of me. I genuinely love wearing their stuff and I wear it all the time. I didn't have to like prepare for this integration. I'm wearing what I was wearing earlier today, including this awesome vintage tee, these awesome super comfy athletic shorts from Into the AM. I wear their stuff pretty much every day because it is amazing. It is super comfortable. It is super easy to care for, and it looks great. It looks awesome. So if you want to freshen up your fits for the coming summer months, this is the perfect opportunity. Make sure you got yourself some beautiful new graphic tees to enjoy barbecues, enjoy the beach, whatever else you got going on this summer, to enjoy a summer of games, to sit around and play video games. And Into the AM has you covered for that as well. So make sure that you click through on that link down at the top of the video game description. The video description. I've got video games on the mind. Click that link at the top of the video description. See what Into the AM has for you. Take advantage of up to 70% off site-wide and even bigger savings on their graphic tee bundles. I'm sure you will find some tees that you absolutely love there. And if you do use that link, you will be supporting me and this channel, which I appreciate very much. So once again, friends, click through that link at the top of the video description. Check out Into the AM's awesome savings on the Memorial Day sale and lock in your fit for this summer. Big thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. All right, games. What are we looking forward to? Now, there are untold multitudes of games that you might be looking forward to. These are the games that came to my mind when I thought about what I would really like to see during this year's Summer Games season. So this list, like your list, if you were to do this, might look very different. This is by no means exhaustive, is what I'm trying to say. This is pretty much just me wish casting. And, some of these are more realistic than others. I think some of them are quite likely. Others are, very pie in the sky. So also, I don't have these in any particular order. So let's just dive right in. Although, actually, now that I think about it, maybe we'll get the elephant out of the room right off the bat. We are not going to see Elder Scrolls 6 in this year's Summer Games season. I guarantee it. I would bet a very large sum of money that we will see nothing of Elder Scrolls 6 this year at all. As recently as a few months ago, Todd Howard was out there doing the interview rounds for the new Starfield update that dropped a few months back, the Free Lanes and the Terran Armada. And he straight up said, like, look, just pretend we didn't announce Elder Scrolls 6. Like, I wish I could just tell people, pretend we didn't announce it. We're not going to be talking about it anytime soon. And he's said as much before. But, it's pretty clear they're not ready to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 yet, except for the very most general kind of statements. There's no way we're seeing Elder Scrolls 6 reveal or gameplay this year. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't mean to break your heart if you were really set on that, but it's just not going to happen. I would bet at the earliest we might see an Elder Scrolls 6 reveal 2 years from now. 2 years, 2028. That is my bold prediction, which I have predicted. I've said that many a time in the last number of years when people ask about it. I think it's still holding. I think that's still a realistic prediction. So we'll see. But hey, if it's 2028, Elder Scrolls 6 is announced and revealed. It's announced already, but revealed. I need you to come back here and I need you to comment and be like, you were right. You were correct. Anyway, all that is to say, no Elder Scrolls 6 this year. Not a chance. However, it is possible that we could see an Elder Scrolls game this year. I would be surprised, but I don't think it's impossible if we were to have a Skyrim remaster announced this year. This summer? Maybe. I'm putting the chances of this at like very low, like single digit percentage likelihood, but it's not impossible. If you were to ask me again next year, I would give it a much better chance. We did, of course, get Oblivion remastered last year in 2025. That game did very well. It had some issues, performance issues, bugs. It's a Bethesda game, after all. But it sold extremely well, by all accounts. And I think that was very much Bethesda's testing ground for this technology of creating this unholy Frankenstein's monster of the old original Oblivion game running underneath this beautiful Unreal Engine 5 shell, basically. And, you know, the creation engine that Skyrim runs on is not so different from the previous iteration, the Gamebryo engine that Oblivion ran on. And so I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to expect that a lot of the techniques and technology they developed for Oblivion Remastered could be applied to Skyrim Remastered. And you know that Todd Howard will take any opportunity he can to sell you Skyrim another time. So do I think we will get a Skyrim remaster one day? Almost guaranteed. Like, I'm giving it a very high chance of happening. Do I think we're going to see a reveal this summer? Probably not. Because we did just get Oblivion remastered last year. I think it's going to take a little while for Skyrim Remastered to cook. And I expect there does, become the issue of, well, they have to get Skyrim Remastered out there before the next Elder Scrolls game, right? So, or after, I guess, but they can't come out at the same time. That would be bad business. So I could see a Skyrim Remastered launching next year. But if it is launching next year, I do not think it's going to be announced this summer, because Bethesda and Todd Howard especially really like to have a short window between announcing a game and releasing a game. Elder Scrolls 6 announcement notwithstanding, I think he really learned his lesson with that. But with other games, like I remember Fallout 4 was like that. Oblivion Remaster was a shadow drop, basically. So, yeah. I don't actually genuinely think we're going to see a Skyrim remaster this summer game season, but I want to. I think. Yeah, I want to. I would play it. The Skyrim modding community is still like incredibly active, super vital. And that game looks beautiful, fully modded these days. So in some ways, Unreal Engine 5 remaster seems pretty superfluous, maybe a little pointless, but Oblivion certainly needed the visual overhaul more. but I'd still buy it. I'd buy it again. I'd buy Skyrim. I'd buy it twice. I'd buy it for PC. I'd buy it for my Switch. Come on, Todd. Try me. Try me. Yeah. So I just wanted to address the Elder Scrolls thing right off the bat because, you know, it's the game that everyone would probably want to hear me talk about. So there you go. Moving on with this list. All right, so I got the Witcher block coming up next. I have 3 different potential Witcher announcements and or reveals that we could get this summer game season, and I would give all of these a reasonably high chance of happening. The first one I think is the most likely. It's because there's been some rumors swirling about this as of late. I think it's pretty likely we will get a Witcher 3 DLC announcement. This has been rumored for a little while now, and that maybe sounds kind of wild out of context because The Witcher 3 is an 11-year-old game as of this May, somehow. And why would they be putting out new DLC for it after all these years? The last DLC, Blood and Wine, came out, what, like 2017 or something like that? Like, it was a long time ago. But the rumors suggest that CD Projekt Red is preparing a new DLC for The Witcher 3 that will act as a bridge to The Witcher 4. And that makes a lot of sense to me. This also leads into the next prediction, which is I bet that we will see a Witcher 4 gameplay reveal at this year's Summer Games season. Now, Nick, you might be saying, Nick, we already had a Witcher 4 gameplay reveal. Sort of, but not really. We had a demo, an Unreal Engine demo set in The Witcher 4 or something very much like it. It featured Ciri. It featured a setting that looked very witchery. But CD Projekt Red was careful to say at that time that this was not The Witcher 4 gameplay. So it's just, this is not representative of The Witcher 4 necessarily. It was an impressive tech demo. It showed off some really cool stuff. It was very pretty. But it was not formally a Witcher 4 gameplay reveal, according to CD Projekt Red. We also got a cool cinematic trailer for The Witcher 4, but again, not technically gameplay. So I think we must be getting pretty close to a Witcher 4 release. If I had to guess, I would say it might launch next year, 2027. In which case we might see the first gameplay reveal this summer. I think that's got a reasonably high likelihood of occurring. And would be very exciting. And again, it would make a lot of sense for The Witcher 3 DLC to be announced alongside that to get people hyped. And they need enough time for that DLC to drop for people to play it before Witcher 4 comes out. I could see Witcher 3 DLC dropping this fall, and then a Witcher 4 release maybe the following fall or something like that. Now, I did mention, however, that I have 3 Witcher games on my list here. The third is the Witcher 1 remake, which has been confirmed. It's called Project Aurora, I believe. That's a code name for it. And this is a complete remake of The Witcher 1 in Unreal Engine 5, which I'm pretty sure is being used, at least in part, to develop tools and expertise with UE5 to apply to other Witcher products like Witcher 4, right? And I think it is mostly being handled by an external studio that's run by an ex-CD Projekt Red fellow, I believe. But we could see that. Again, we run into the issue of lots of content that CD Projekt Red probably doesn't want to be stepping on their own toes, right? And so there would need to be enough room and time for this Witcher 1 remake to launch and kind of have its own window before Witcher 4 drops. So that leads me to say maybe the Witcher 1 remake reveal is less likely, because if we're taking my proposed timeline here with a Witcher 4 release next year, I feel like trying to drop a Witcher 3 DLC, a Witcher 1 remake, and then Witcher 4 all in the space of like a year and a half, that's probably crazy. That's not good business. So maybe we won't see the Witcher 1 remake for another couple of years yet. They've been very quiet about it. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's been really any official word about it since they announced it. We've not seen anything of it. So I think of the three, that is the least likely to be revealed next month. Okay, next on my list here, again, unordered list, just random stuff that came out of my mind as I was thinking about this. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. This is a cool looking one. It's the next game from Naughty Dog. And Naughty Dog has been very quiet for a very long time now. It's about time that we see something of substance from them. I shouldn't say they've been fully quiet, because they did reveal Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, about a year and a half ago, I think. I'm pretty sure it was at the Game Awards 2024. So the end of 2024. And they put out a very cool looking trailer. This game it looks like a story-driven sci-fi third-person game. I don't know. We don't know much more about it than that, but there's some, I seem to recall in the trailer, there was some melee combat, at least a little bit. But it's very much a tone piece, and Naughty Dog is, of course, second to none when it comes to performance capture. And that was really on display in that trailer. But since that reveal, they have been radio silent about it. We know next to nothing about what that game actually is. So I think it's about time that we see more about it. It would not surprise me if we saw a gameplay reveal for Intergalactic this summer, and perhaps with launch next year. I would be surprised if it was launching this year, but I could see a first gameplay reveal this summer for sure. Fingers crossed, because it looks cool. Speaking of sci-fi space epics, do I even utter these words? Mass Effect 5. Mass Effect 5. We know this game is in the works. It was announced, like years ago now. We know it's been in development at EA or BioWare, such as BioWare is these days, for years now. I have also read rumors that it has had a troubled development, if you can believe it. Yeah, obviously Mass Effect 5, the expectations on that game are unreal. The pressure on that game is unbelievable. BioWare, bless their souls, has really struggled to deliver on the legacy of their studio in recent years, and that's probably because it's not the same studio that it was during its heyday, right? It's not the same people. It's under different management, with EA being their leash holders, and the last Dragon Age game, I don't think it really hit the way they needed it to. I think some people enjoyed it, but I think overall it it was considered a bit mid, and and I don't think BioWare can release another mid game and survive, really. Maybe that's a bit dire to say, but I mean, EA has a history of being absolutely ruthless with studios under their umbrella that are not delivering, and BioWare, hasn't really had a good solid hit for a long time. So obviously the less said about Anthem, the better, right? So Mass Effect 5 is I think the last big swing, that BioWare gets. And I must admit, I have a special soft spot for BioWare, not only because they made some spectacular games, like the run of releases in the early to mid 2000s, the Mass Effects, of course, but Dragon Age, KOTOR, all that, right? I love them for that reason, but also they're a Canadian studio. BioWare, the primary office is based out of Edmonton. And so I have a bit of a soft spot for them for that reason. Anyway, I told you this was going to be a rambly video. Point is, we know they're working on Mass Effect 5. The latest rumors suggest that it's really only just getting into full development in earnest at this point, like now. So I think the chances that we see it during this year's Summer Games Fest or Summer Games period, I think the chances are next to nothing. However, I'm sure there is pressure there from EA to show something like proof of life, because people are wondering, like, it's been a long time. They've been working at it. So if there is enough pressure from above, maybe they try and show something. What that something would be, I don't know, because it sounds like there's really nothing to show yet. But, just to remind people that it's in development, some kind of proof of life. So, do I think we're going to see Mass Effect 5? No, I don't. Do I think we might hear something about it? Maybe. I'd give that a slightly better chance. Will it be called Mass Effect 5? Probably not. Probably not. Would it be called Mass Effect 4? Could be. Do we just forget that Andromeda even ever happened? Maybe. Could happen. Anyway. We shall see. I wish BioWare the best. All right, what else we got here? Okay, this is not even a game thing. This is a hardware thing. I mean, it's related to games, of course, but I bet we get some more details about Xbox's next-gen console, the so-called Project Helix. They have been fairly open about the fact that it is in development. They do have hardware coming. It is going to be a full-fledged next-gen console. And there was a certain sense of, like, I don't want to say desperation, but, like, it's no secret that, Microsoft's Xbox has lost this console generation, if you want to put it that way, by a wide margin. I mean, PlayStation is the clear leader by volume of sales of their console, and just by, like, public opinion, I think. Xbox has done some pretty cool stuff with Game Pass, but in terms of hardware and flagship games from their tentpole series to sort of sell that hardware, I think they missed the mark this generation. Part of that is no doubt because they went to their everything is an Xbox philosophy, where there were no Xbox console exclusives anymore, right? You could buy it all on Xbox, on PlayStation, on PC, wherever. And while I think that is a very actually consumer-friendly model, and, like, they should probably be lauded for trying that, I don't think it sells Xboxes. And I think that's the problem that they've bumped up against. And they are claiming that they do still want to be a hardware manufacturer. Because at some point, if you're going to say everything's an Xbox, you can play these games anywhere, at some point, you kind of have to relinquish your hardware business, right? Because what makes that a compelling choice over a PlayStation, for example, which comes with, all the Microsoft games, plus all its own exclusives. So, but Xbox is adamant. They say, we are still in the hardware game. We are making another console. We're going to have this next gen console. It's going to be called Project Helix. And they've said it will allow you to play your PC games as well as your Xbox games. Now that's interesting. What does that mean? Well, we don't really know. It could mean, if you want to get really pie in the sky about it, it could mean that it's basically just a PC that you can play your entire Steam library, your GOG library, whatever on, but also you could play all your Xbox games on. At that point, what is an Xbox game, I guess? But maybe you could take, a disc for an Xbox Series X game. Do you still have those? Do we still do that? Discs, game discs, hardware, or physical games? I don't know. But maybe you could take one of those and put it into Project Helix, and maybe it would play it as if it were an Xbox, but also have all your PC games. It could also mean that it can run the PC versions of Microsoft's releases rather than just the Xbox versions. That's a lot less exciting. I don't know how they would police that and say no. The issue is, whatever, this gets into a whole thing. If they let you play your Steam games on there, once again, they have a problem now, which is, well, you might buy their hardware, but why would you buy Microsoft's games from Microsoft when you can just buy them on Steam and play them on your Xbox? And then Microsoft doesn't get to take a cut, right? So Microsoft's going to want to try and railroad people into buying through their storefronts at the very least, because that's how they make money, right? It's how they get their cut. Anyway, we don't know what Project Helix is yet. That's the whole point. But Microsoft seems very keen to get information about it out there to reassure people, to reassure gamers. They are still in the game. They're still making hardware. They've got something really cool coming up. And I think they're going to want to put more of that out there for people to see. Will we actually get to see a physical Project Helix box? Probably not. I think they'll maybe talk about it a little bit more. There is, of course, the whole awkward situation about the ridiculously high costs of PC hardware right now. Of course, this generation of consoles being the only generation of consoles ever where the prices of all the major consoles have gone up as the generation has progressed rather than down. That's pretty dire. And so launching a new console in that market sounds suicidal. So I don't think the Project Helix release is imminent. I think maybe we could see it late next year. That could happen. But also, who knows what's going to be happening a year from now when it comes to hardware availability, pricing, whatever. In the current market, releasing an Xbox that also is a PC and that's what they're calling a premium gaming experience, which suggests powerful hardware, that's going to be an expensive box. That's got to be at least, $1,500 USD at least, if you're, making those claims, which is double the price, the launch prices of current gen consoles, or more. So anyway, I know not what Project Helix will be, but I am interested to learn more about it. And I think Microsoft is very invested in telling us more about it to reassure us that it is a real thing and it is coming. So yeah, I think there's a decent chance we learn a little bit more about Project Helix this summer. What exactly? Who can say? All right, this is one I threw on here because I just read about it the other day. I don't actually really expect to see this next month, but it'd be cool if we did. Warhorse Studios, they have Kingdom Come Deliverance, have just announced that they are working on an open world RPG set in the Middle Earth universe. And if that doesn't get you excited, you, I guess, don't like RPGs or Middle Earth, and that's okay, but you probably should enjoy those things because they're pretty cool. And Warhorse obviously has a strong reputation, especially coming off of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 last year, which was very, very good. And so hearing that they are working on I hesitate to say Lord of the Rings because they didn't use that terminology. They just called it a Middle Earth RPG. So maybe it's set in a different time period or a different part of that setting. But whatever the case, you have my attention, Warhorse. You have my attention. We only just heard about this a few days ago. So to actually see something of it next month, that would be pretty impressive, unexpected. But maybe that's why they announced it in the last few days. Maybe because they're planning to show it off. I don't know. At any rate, we know nothing about that. But that's two things that I enjoy very much. Three things. It's Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth. It's open world RPGs, which I enjoy. And it's Warhorse Studios. So, sounds strong. We shall see. I think the chances of actually seeing it are quite low. But okay, speaking of just throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks, man, wouldn't it be cool if we saw the next big thing from Software? Eh? Like, I don't know what it would be, but well, let's back it up a step. From Software has been very prolific as of late. Of course, we got Night Rain last year. And we are, in theory, getting a Switch 2 exclusive from them this year called the Dusk Bloods, which I bet you we will see quite a bit of next month. I think that's almost a given because it's supposed to be launching this year. But further out, what's their next big thing? We don't know yet. I suspect somewhere in there, Miyazaki is working feverishly on an Elden Ring 2. Like, that would be crazy if they weren't, right? Is it the time to reveal that? Probably not. It feels a bit early, especially given how much other stuff they've been putting out, right? We also got Armored Core 6 a couple of years back. So, do I think we're going to see the next big thing from Software next month? Not really. But would it be cool if we did? Absolutely. I give that one like a 20% chance, let's say. But we'll see. Okay, I also have on my list here a new Star Wars thing. This is a half-formed thought. I don't quite know what a new Star Wars thing would be. In fact, we did just get a new Star Wars thing revealed back at the Game Awards in December of last year, which is the next Old Republic game, right? Fate of the Old Republic, I think it's being called. And that was a cinematic trailer, very flashy, very cool. We don't know more about it than that, really. No gameplay, nothing. But I feel like, I don't know, Star Wars is just such a criminally underutilized IP in gaming these days. Because when Star Wars games are good, they are really good. And as someone who was big into Star Wars as a kid and grew up around the turn of the millennium, like you could barely take a step without bumping into like 5 Star Wars games. They were putting them out all the time, for better or for worse. Like some of them genuinely sucked. Some of them were like actually shovelware, but there was also a lot of really good Star Wars stuff coming out, and I miss that. Like I just feel like maybe since Disney took over, they've just been much more protective of their license, which is ironic given what they've done with it themselves. But that's unfair. I shouldn't say that. The main series movies are what they are, but we've had some good Star Wars as of late. And your Andors, your Mandos. But, and by all accounts, Maul Shadow Lord is very good, although I've not watched it. Anyway, a new Star Wars game. I think maybe we're due for another Jedi game. Like, Cal Kestis doing his thing. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that Respawn is working on another one. And actually, now that I think about it, I think they were working on yet another Star Wars game too. Aren't they? I thought I remember that being announced, or at least rumored at one point. Like a separate Star Wars game. There is, of course, also that Star Wars like tactical combat game that looks like Star Wars XCOM. Its name is escaping me right now, but it actually looks pretty cool. What's this called? Star Wars. I don't know. Anyway, it'll come to me, and if it doesn't, I'll put it down there in the video. You'll see. But so that's coming out this year. But anyway, I just think we're due for another big Star Wars thing. That's just my feeling. I don't know. I can't quantify it better than that. So we'll see. Okay, here's one that I think actually would be a pretty big deal, and I think we actually have a pretty good chance of seeing it. I bet we see a new mainline Mario game revealed by Nintendo, right? A new one for the Nintendo Switch 2. Because we don't have a mainline Mario game for the Nintendo Switch 2 yet. The last mainline Mario game was Super Mario Odyssey, and that was... I can't even remember when that came out. It was a long time ago, though. We are definitely due for a new mainline Super Mario game. And, the Switch 2 is a very capable piece of hardware. It's a nice console. I use mine, with some regularity. But it's hard to deny that the Nintendo, first-party games have been pretty slow to come out on that platform. Like, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza last year, which is fun, but it's no Mario, right? And of course, it launched with the new Mario Kart, but again, it's not a mainline Mario game. So I bet we get a new mainline Mario game pretty soon. Will Nintendo reveal it during the Summer Games season? They could. They usually do their own little thing in that window, so they could. I hope they do, because I feel like it's time. All right. Okay, I've got one more that I think is pretty likely, and then two that are just crazy, just huffing the copium over here. But okay, the one that I think is actually somewhat likely to happen is that we finally get to see what the next Assassin's Creed is, which I believe is supposed to be, at least this one, called Codename Hexa. Codename Hexa was announced a couple of years back as being in development. It is set in the Holy Roman Empire, and just the tone of what they teased makes it look a bit darker, maybe has a bit of a supernatural element to it. There's some talk about like witch hunts and things like that. That sounds like a cool as heck setting for an Assassin's Creed game. I am very interested to see what that game might be. Will we get like a full name reveal and maybe a gameplay reveal? I could see it. Ubisoft needs to get games out because they've been struggling. Of course, they do have an Assassin's Creed game coming up pretty soon, which is the resynced version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And you know, they don't probably want to take the wind out of their sails for that, but they've been dumping a whole lot of media for that game. You know, lots of previews and things like that, even just the last week or two. So they're kind of already well into their cycle for promoting that game. So I feel like by this time next month, yeah, maybe we'll have seen a bit of codename Hexa, and maybe it'll have an official name. I could definitely see it, and that'd be pretty cool. I think they should just call it Hexa. Assassin's Creed Hexa. I think that's a cool name. But they'll probably change the name. Okay, here are my two craziest, wildest, probably not at all going to happen, but throwing them out there just to manifest them in the universe. Wouldn't it be cool if we got a new... Sorry, I almost can't say this without laughing. I shouldn't say that. It's not that preposterous, but how about a new mainline Halo game? I say mainline like there's spin-offs. How about a Halo game? The next Halo game. Halo Infinite, you know, it kind of came and went. It had a lot of promise, and that promise was not really delivered upon. I think 343 had a lot of plans to turn that into a very long tail live service game, and that kind of didn't happen. You know, I think a lot of people expected a bunch more DLC for it. That kind of didn't happen. And that was 5 years ago. Was it? Was it 2021? Might have been. Gosh. We are due for another Halo game. And of course, there is another Halo game that was announced. Halo Campaign Evolved, I think they're calling it. This is their remake of the Halo 1 Combat Evolved campaign, which, for what it's worth, looks pretty good. But that's not what I mean by this. I mean the next main Halo game. Will we see it at Summer Games, whatever, Summer Games period? Probably not. I think it's pretty unlikely. But should they get something out there? Yes. Yes, they should. What would it take to get people really excited about a new Halo game? I don't know. I genuinely don't know what that game should be. But I don't know. It's not my problem. They don't pay me to do that, so somebody's thinking about it. Okay. Final thing. Again, this is just a list of random stuff that came to my mind. I know there's all kinds of things that I could talk about that I've missed here, but this video's getting pretty long. So, final thing: a StarCraft first-person shooter game or third-person shooter game. A StarCraft shooter game. StarCraft obviously has been relegated to the dustbin of Blizzard's IPs. It doesn't get any attention these days, at all, really. However, for a certain segment of the gaming audience, a certain age of millennial gamers, age group, which, I am a part of, StarCraft still has a lot of pull. And do I expect that we're going to get a new StarCraft RTS game ever maybe not. Maybe not. Certainly not anytime soon. RTSs went the way of the dodo decades ago. But, okay, decades is maybe a bit of a stretch, but like at least a decade ago. However, there have been persistent rumors that there is a StarCraft game in the works at Blizzard, some kind of StarCraft shooter. Now, those who are, again, of that particular millennial cohort might remember there was a StarCraft shooter in development many, many years ago. StarCraft Ghost, the ill-fated StarCraft Ghost. That game got quite a ways along in development, far enough along that they were previewing it to press, media, and some of that media got out there. I think even a playable build of that game made it out, kind of leaked out a while back. But it got axed. It got axed at one point. It never did come to manifest. So, is the idea of a StarCraft shooter cursed? I could see, if we want to, take sort of the modern template and apply it to a StarCraft game, I could see a third-person extraction shooter StarCraft game or something like that. Would I be excited about a StarCraft extraction shooter? No, I would not. I would want some kind of single-player thing or some kind of like loot-based thing, like a Destiny-ish kind of thing, maybe. Personally, or even just a really tight single-player FPS StarCraft game. Likelihood of that very low, but anyway, I think it's probably likely that Blizzard is working on a StarCraft shooter of some kind. That alone is enough to excite me at least a bit. Will they show it off next month? Probably not. A Blizzard famously tends to save these sorts of announcements for BlizzCon, which comes up later in the year. However, Blizzard now belongs to Microsoft. Microsoft is going to want to put some big splashy announcements in their big press conference, Xbox games, whatever, reveal stuff. So it could find a home there. It's possible. I would give that a non-zero chance. I wouldn't say it's a high likelihood, but I would say it's not impossible. And that's that, friends. That is the list of games that I wrote down here out of my brain. But like I said, there are multitudes of possible cool announcements, things that could be revealed next month. And if you have such a list or have been thinking about it while watching this video, I would love to hear what games, not necessarily that you're looking forward to even, but what you predict might be revealed next month. Your wildest, boldest predictions. I think some of these predictions are a bit bold. I don't know if any of them are wild, but I think they're a bit bold. I think some of these, will come to pass. Many of them will not. But anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think is going to get revealed next month. Give me your craziest, your wildest predictions. We'll see what comes to pass. And that, friends, brings us to the end of this video. Another, yapping about gaming kind of video. I like doing these, though, and I think some of you at least enjoy watching them. So if you've watched to the end, congratulations. Thank you for being here. And I look very forward to having you back here next time. Bye for now, friends. And, well, I might not know what games are going to be revealed next month with any certainty anyway. What I do know for certain is that I really appreciate this channel's amazing supporters. You can see their names right here. These amazing supporters on Patreon and YouTube support what I do here on the channel. They help me keep making the kinds of videos that I like to make the most, that you hopefully enjoy watching and listening to the most as well. And for that, I thank them. There is one particular tier here, the Mighty Fusroda tier, that gets a very special spoken shout out in every one of my videos. And of course, you are about to hear their illustrious names right now. Starting with Joe TCL, Ragnar Ragnarsson, Drummer Britt, and Jake Luffney. Incredible individuals and very much appreciated. That goes for everybody that you see here. I really do appreciate the support that these kind individuals so generously provide. So once again, a big old thank you to this channel's amazing supporters.